Hello, I'm Shada Wasserman, and I'm Director of Exhibitions at Temple Rome. I welcome you to Temple Rome and to our spring student exhibition, this semester very aptly titled From Rome to Home. And for this, I thank Anita Guerra for suggesting the title from an assignment for her painting on paper class. We don't usually give a title, but this was just too tempting. I give a warm welcome to our deans, Faye Trachtenberg and Emilia Zankina, to students, faculty, parents, friends. This is Emilia's first student show, so here we are boasting a few little things, you know, so we're very proud to have you, Emilia, join us on this debut for both of us, for everybody, virtual and for you. This presentation is a tradition at Temple Rome and marks an important moment for the students as a synthesis of their semester work in their visual arts and architecture classes, and to celebrate the end of the semester. Some students are visual art and architecture majors. Others have chosen to take courses as an elective in order to explore their own creativity and Rome through a sketchbook, a lens, a paintbrush. The students share with each other, with the faculty and the Temple Rome community, their accomplishments, the outstanding work they created during their time in Rome, and in this case, after they returned home. They are proud, and we are all proud of them and of the hard work of our distinguished faculty. We all know that this was a very particular semester, and as you will soon see, this show is a testament to dedication and to commitment. From Rome to Home is presented on our newly created digital space and can be visited with us tonight or at your leisure on our website and on our YouTube channel, along with a recording of tonight's live event. Students and their professors made a careful selection of outstanding work, and together with our gallery team, Emily Kravitz and Barbara Kahn, we curated this virtual 3D viewing as we would the in-person exhibition. Emily smoothly navigated this new platform and installed an exceptional arrangement of around 150 works, and she will guide us through the show, stopping briefly at the beginning of each section, which corresponds to a class. I'll introduce the professors and allow time for each to say some words. As we move along the works, a few students would like to make comments and others are welcome to join. During the visit, the audience will be muted, but please feel free to write on the chat and Barbara will monitor this. So now, without taking any more time, I think we're all very eager to see the show. Sorry for being a little cheesy, but as they say in showbiz, the show will go on. So now I put everything in the hands of Emily and enjoy the visit.
Thank you, Shara.
Thank you. So we'll stop for a few minutes just to see the wall text, and then we start with the first section, which is Darkroom Photography, Lucy Klink. I don't know if Lucy would like to say a word or two. Then we'll move on to look at the works individually.
Well, it's inherent difficulties and mysteries and delights. And so when they left to go back to the United States, they had already scanned many of their negatives, but they collaborate. I mean, they did both. They used their negatives and then they used the digital materials when they were in the United States, and really worked beautifully, considering they had left this beautiful city of Rome and the darkroom, but they were able to continue their work. And I have to say they worked really well and produced beautiful portfolios with seamlessly, actually. And that's all I'd like to say. So I thank them and thank Shara and Emily for putting this all together.
Good job, Lucy. Really beautiful display.
Thank you very much. Thank them.
Shara, I'm wondering if any of the students are maybe from this class with us, and maybe they like to ask something to one of the...
they know. If they would like to, I don't want to, call on students because I wouldn't want to make them feel, but if they're welcome to, please. Any students in photography that want to comment? So advanced painting and advanced drawing, Susan Moore. The statement is, we stop long enough so you can read the statement, which describes the class briefly. And I think Henry Morales has agreed to say a few words. Henry, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Would you like to say a few words when we get to your piece?
Sure.
Okay, Emily, we can move on. Okay.
Yeah, that was mine. And
yes. No, oh, Emily, can you go back? Yes. Okay.
So that piece was inspired, obviously, from leaving the country a little too early. So pretty much what I did was a microscopic view of the virus and did an abstract representation of it using cement, joint compound, and household materials, and bagged it inside and made like a biohazard bag around it, and yeah.
And did it help you? Did it help you figure out how to make some kind of a reason of this whole situation? I mean, was it also helpful to make the work?
Yeah, definitely. It helped me just come to terms with the whole situation. And, as artists, things will not always go the way you want it to go. And you have to improvise and roll with it. And this was definitely one of those situations. One could say, we have to roll with it. So
thank you very much, Henry. Beautiful piece. Okay, Emily. So you might want to read some of the chats. Comments are coming very quickly and they're very complimentary. So if you can, I don't know, Sophie's on?
Okay. Hi, Sarah.
Oh, hi, Sophie. Should you want to talk about your piece here? Or do you want to wait until we get to, I think you're in another class too, aren't you?
Sure, I can talk about it.
This one or the next?
I can talk about either.
Go ahead, Sophie.
Okay, well, this one was, it actually started as a mistake. Well, I knew I wanted to create a piece that had to do with the faux marble that's all over Rome. And so, but I ended up actually applying my rabbit skin glue, which is like a paint primer, on too thickly. So then I ended up going with that and creating a piece where I used the cracks to my advantage.
Very, very nice. And of course, we've talked a lot in class about how sometimes the work that starts out in one way goes someplace else, and an error is never an error, and so on and so on. So beautiful piece. Read the chats. Everybody's commenting on how beautiful the piece is.
Thank you.
Okay, Emily, thank you. So this is, I guess, Bill, are you there? Bill Petit's painting materials and techniques class. Very particular class. You might want to tell us a little bit about the
so we study traditional RS materials, mostly referring to Cennino Cennini's The Artist's Handbook. And the students are engaged in making materials with whatever's available. And so when they had to go back home and be locked in their houses, it was kind of, unfortunately, a perfect real life situation of how to use these lessons of making materials. And everyone did such a great job foraging in their garages and backyards for materials. So they did a great job.
Good job, in fact. So let's see the works. If anybody in Bill's class is
Jack, you're there, right? Say something about that.
Yeah, this is
Can we go back one?
It was so I'm a graphic design major, and I'm like, this was my first ever painting class I've taken in college. So I decided to just combine this class with my major, and I used vegetables to make prints on paper, and then I scanned those prints in and just made like an abstract color kind of piece using different lightnesses and darknesses to create depth. And that's, yeah, it's a simple piece, and there's not a ton of story behind it, but it's a bunch of vegetable prints that I combined in what I thought was an interesting way.
And look at all the comments, Jack, that are coming in. I think everybody likes it very much.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you, guys.
Good job.
Go, Sophie.
Sophie, yeah, here's Sophie.
Wait, can we go back to Sophie again?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi again. So this one was actually, I was gathering, a tree fell down in my backyard, so I was gathering my favorite pieces of that, and I used that to arrange this composition and create something beautiful out of something that died and was destroyed, and giving it new life.
It's very beautiful. It looks almost, I mean, from the screen, it looks very precious. It has this kind of jewel-like effect.
Yeah, I used, in Bill's class, we worked a lot with gold leaf, and we got to do that with our icon painting. So I wanted to figure out a way to incorporate that somehow and use it on alternative surface.
Beautiful, Sophie.
Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, Emily, you can go on.
I don't think Amanda could make it tonight, so.
Okay. So digital photography, Liana Mucho, who's here. We'll take a few seconds to read the text while Liana describes her class. Liana?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Yeah,
Do you want to present your class?
Sure, I would love to. I wanted to say that I was very proud of my students, like all of the students this semester, especially in the arts. It was a challenge, but they rose to it. They had digital cameras, 35mm ones when they were here. Many of them had to switch to their phones, and they actually created beautiful work even with the limitations. And I was very proud of their resilience.
Yes, indeed, all of us are, and of yours. Okay, Emily. I don't know if there are any students in Liana's class. I hadn't been given a thumbs up by anybody, but if you want to talk, we'll stop at your piece.
Okay, I'm trying to see. I think some of them got confused with the time. I'm thinking it was 7 p.m. time in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We'll send them the recording.
Yes.
So most of these
Maya.
Is that you have Maya too? Yeah.
I have her in lots of classes, but
no, they did a nice job, and it's a mix of some of their remote work and some of their Rome work as well.
Indeed, Sophie just said amazing photos. They're amazing photos, indeed.
Yeah, they did a great job. On the left is Rome, and on the right was Philadelphia.
Oh. this was fun. It was,
Thank you, Shara and
thank you,
Emily.
Anna. Beautiful. So Andrew Kranis, I don't know if he's here and would like to say something about his section. No? I can't see if Andrew's here, but maybe not. Okay, we'll move on then and look at the pieces. And if any of the students from Andrew's class are here and they would like to talk. So Andrew did this beautiful collage of, oh, okay. Anyway, beautiful collage of all the students' works together in one panel. And with, of course, with the keys so we can see who the students are, but also a very beautiful survey of the neighborhood sites that they visited. Okay, Emily, thank you. I don't know who would like to speak. This is the architecture studio taught by two professors, Cinzia Abate and Carolina Vaccaro. I know that several of their students are here, so we can ask them to speak too, but who would like to introduce the class?
But we can also do it just 2 words together, you know.
Okay.
Well, I just, first of all, I want to thank you so much, Shara. I want to thank you, Emily, for this great work. And I want to thank the students also because we are extremely proud of their work, especially in the second part of the semester. So difficult. We were lucky because the students could visit the site on which they work in the second part. Both the project are you know, have a sustainable primary approach. So they work with the existing. And so in different scale, they face the question of reanimate existing building and also extend them. And this is a way also to understand that the continuity, the evolution, and also the relation between old and new. And I leave Cinzia to add something if she wants. But I'm really absolutely proud of the students. They made both part of the semester a great work. Yes, absolutely. I can only add, you know, my congratulations to all the students, but not only our students have been fantastic to work with, and we were just discussing with them this experience because they really allowed to open their soul and the knowledge and their sensibility to really measure and question the way of approaching design in such an important historical context. And they work both with an historical fragment so emblematic for the history of the Tiber, like Ponte Rotto, and then they work with another incredible manufacturer of the industrial area of Rome, which is one of the buildings in the slaughterhouse. And so they adapted themselves to work both with really a ruin and also a contemporary ruin, an industrial ruin, and both with an urban residential housing area like Testaccio, and then just the fragment of the idea of the ruin in the middle of the river that becomes an inhabitable space, reinventing itself as a place to view the city. So congratulations to all of them, and thank you for this opportunity, Shara. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. It is fantastic, beautiful. As we move on, I know that a few of your students are here, Eva, August. If somebody would like to say, one of you would like to say something when we get to the work. Or anybody else who would like to. I'm just calling on the students who. August or Eva?
I saw them, they were here, I don't know.
Yeah, they were. I saw, in fact, also. Or Elizabeth, would you like to say something? Are you here?
Sure, I could say something.
Oh, yay, I didn't see you.
So can we hop back to the last one? I'll talk about the group project. So it's the bottom left, yeah. So my partner, Patrick, and I, and the rest of the class had to work with this ruin, the Ponte Roto, and we were trying to, for our project, create kind of a peaceful place amongst the crazy of the city. So here we have a dock, kind of a resting place for people on 2 different levels where you'd be able to see the city as well as interact with the water of the Tiber River.
It's very, very, very beautiful. And of course, this is, explain a moment, because I think you did models and the models were photographed. Is that how the process worked?
We did some physical models, yes. Yes, it does float. And then we did a lot of digital models as well.
Beautiful piece. Very
Thank you.
Sorry, I accidentally just restarted it. Let me go back.
So now we're in space. Are we in the second space, Emily?
I accidentally restarted it, so I have to try to walk through that wall again.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, this is a very, it's a wonderful platform, but it does take some getting used to it. Like ghosts, one walks through the wall, as Emily's going to do now, and brings us into the second space. A map of the gallery? No, Roberto. I don't think we do, but what we will have though, if I'm not wrong, Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, there's going to be a digital catalog that comes with this, isn't there?
Yes, if you go to the, sorry, I don't know, this is glitching. My keys aren't moving anymore. If you go to the page for the exhibition, you can go inside, and if you go to these 3 bars to the top, you can see a list of works, and when you get to about the exhibition, I believe you could see a PDF.
And this is also nice. The students can also have it for themselves. They can, a record of their work, of the exhibition, actual catalog, a PDF catalog of the exhibition. So it's very nice.
Made it into the second room. I don't know what's happening.
We have patience. Take your time and don't worry. Don't feel nervous. We like seeing architecture again.
Well, let's put it in architecture. Oh my gosh. Here, let me start this over because the website is glitching.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, take your time.
Did Conley want to speak now or wait until the show resumes?
I'm sorry, who?
Carla said that Conley would like to speak.
Hello. Yeah, so when our project comes back up, we had the project on Testaccio dealing with the our new ruin. And I worked with Jenna Shore, who's unfortunately having electrical issues and is not on the call. And anyway, we did a design where we wanted to keep the perimeters of the historic building and just extend straight up and keep everything very compact and contain all the functions of the structure within a mesh and glass steel framework.
All right. Everyone see?
Yeah. Okay, great. Here we are coming back to, so
Well, it looks like we're gonna have to go manually because it restarts the entire exhibition.
Okay. We'll be happy to see everything again.
Well, this way we can decide how much time we spend on a piece. Okay.
It's Ren here. Ren, do you want to talk?
Yeah, I can talk. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm eating
hold
something.
on. Is this the piece?
Yeah,
This
those two are from me and Eva. And so for this one, we focused on the history of the Tiberina Island. So it has a history as a medical hospital center. So we took themes from that and we made it into something based off an Asclepius, which is the medicine spiral of one Roman god. And so we made like everything kind of twisty and windy. And we just made paths so that the Ponte Roto, you could like go through the water and then go also up and like kind of interact with the bridge more.
Ren, why don't you say something about the statue down below? Yeah. The drawing below. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, this was me and Eva's project for Testaccio. And then so for this one, it was an old slaughterhouse. So what we did was we kind of just gutted the inside of the building and we made it, and then we did a vertical extension up. So it was very industrial and fragmented and like new versus, and it like contrasted with the old from the bottom of the building. But like the inside of it, you can't really see it right now, but like it also has like the rooms are kind of in the same shape as the vertical extension on the top.
So I'll just tell you a comment that Anita Guerra says that the previous one was a very appropriate site because the island was used to quarantine people during the plague, during the times of the plague. So it, little did you know what a very nice design. In fact, it looks kind of like a city of the future.
Thank you.
This
Thank
one,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Project. Bravi.
Peter or Patrick? No.
Yes.
Lauren?
Hi. Yeah, I can talk.
Oh, where are you? Okay.
This one.
Yeah, so this is the same project that Ren was just talking about, but for my design, I decided to go a lot more monumental. I wanted to create something that would mirror the nearby pyramid and the nearby post office of the neighborhood. So I tried to mirror that with the color, but also in its monumentality.
Another very beautiful project. I think your professors are very proud of everybody, Jean and Carolina. Right,
Yes, they're all fantastic, I must say. Great class.
So Faye Trachtenberg just commented, great work, everyone.
Madeline is here? No. Okay.
Do you want me to talk again about this one? I could.
Sure.
This was my project for the Ponte Roto site. So I really wanted to create something that would allow you to inhabit the bridge. So there's a building that goes up that contains a museum about like the history of the bridge, but then there's a series of walkways down that kind of wrap around the bridge and then lead to the Tiberina Island.
Very nice. And of course, these ancient sites never thought they were going to have such a contemporary new vision, right?
This is a Conley project that he spoke before.
Uh-huh. So now we're starting, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and the name of the title was the House of the Arts, or Casa dell'Arte.
Library of the Arts, yes.
Mm.
Okay. So I think our next section is going to be Rome Sketchbook. Two professors. The first, I believe, is Anita Guerra works, and the second will be Roberto Caracciolo. So I think, if I'm not wrong, after we've read the text, Anita, perhaps you can start, and then Roberto can talk about his section.
Well, hi, it's Anita. Hi, everyone, and welcome. All I can say is that when we go out on site in Rome, we're learning from the beauty around us, the classical beauty and monuments from the past, paintings from these incredible museums. And that work informs the student drawings. Whereas when you were all ripped from the city of Rome in a very traumatic situation, I think the work shows the work turned inwards. And being able to do artwork in such a time helped metabolize the trauma and the fragmentation. And I see a lot of fragmentation in the work that is sort of a way of piecing together both worlds also. So you'll see for yourself, a lot of my students are present. I know Emily and Victoria and Mia, I think, are here. So please speak up when your piece comes up.
Okay, speak up, so we'll stop and focus on the work. Go ahead, Emily, you can move on.
Maybe Roberto wanted to say something?
I think we'll start with his second, because I think this is, if I'm not wrong, this is your section, right?
Yeah, Lucia is here with her family. So Lucia, could you explain this piece?
Hello, everyone. So this is a piece that I did. The first part is actually the line drawing, which I did while I was standing in front of the Colosseum looking at it. And then the second piece is a collage that I did after. I did it at night at my house working on it. I don't know, I just really loved this piece. I thought it just made me feel so happy, and I didn't want to put in one that I worked on at home. I wanted to put in one that I really did when I was in Rome. So that's this one. I'm really proud of it.
Good job, Lucia. And I agree that it was nice to put something in that you had done in Rome. Very nice.
And I think Emily's here.
You want to say something? Emily, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I can say something quickly. Hi guys, how are you? This is a collage I did out of paper, and it's cut up text messages that I sent to my family when I had to notify them that we were coming home. And then in the center is just a Conte crayon moon in the phase that it was when we were flying back to the States. So thank you.
Emily, do you want to talk about the mosaics and where they come from? The images.
Yes, it is a work in, I believe, the Uffizi Museum, and it is of the angels falling. It's figures of men falling from the sky. And I just felt that sort of, it was really, it spoke to me when I saw it in person, and so I took a photo of it. And then also, I just felt like it sort of encompassed the mood of what it was like to be returning home. It really sort of did feel like the end of the world, or the sky was falling. So I wanted to use that piece as inspiration for the background.
So you might be happy to hear two comments. Devin says, very interesting combination of different languages and very sophisticated and contemporary.
Thank you.
Yes, nice crit.
Thanks, guys.
Well done, Emily.
Thank you.
Is Mia here?
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. This is my piece. Basically, it was inspired by the time that I was headed back to the States. I was waiting at the bus, or was waiting in the airport at like 3 in the morning, and I was just staring at this Leonardo da Vinci sort of monument, and I saw his flying machine, and I just kind of wanted to hop on and travel wherever I wanted myself. So that's what this is inspired by.
And it's a kite that works, actually, right, Mia?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I cut it out from the paper that I had and strung some string on it and went out.
So Devin says that he gets the Leonardo quote, and he says, but is there some Goya in there too?
No, actually, I was just really, I guess, inspired by Leonardo at the time. I just wanted to go on my own and fly in his machine. I wish I could just take that monument right off and like go ahead. But yeah, thank you, Devin.
And thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
And this piece is Victoria here. Anyway, I can talk a little bit about this piece if I can get rid of the chat. Is
Here's
Victoria?
Victoria's here. She can talk for herself.
Excellent. Great.
I think she's here.
Victoria?
Yeah, she's having technical difficulties, I think. We can't hear her.
Maybe Victoria could write into the chat.
Yes, I'm asking her to now. Victoria, do you want to write in the chat? No.
Well, I would like to just say something about it. We had a group Zoom discussion, and then Victoria, when you can speak up, do so. And the circular motif drew me right in, and it reminded me of an orbit or a coronavirus itself, but it also reminded me of a clock. So time ticking away. But I also really appreciated the whimsical, very positive and beautiful aspect of it. It's cheerful. It's not grim like many of the others. And also technically, it's really beautifully rendered in pencil. You can really tell what's tea, what's cappuccino, and the different types of coffee. The different options you can get when you go to a cafe here in Rome. Victoria, are you able to speak? Let's see.
Maybe she wrote in the chat. Maybe we should move on now and
yeah.
Okay.
This is Elliot's piece. Is Elliot here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go. Go.
All right. This is actually a locket that I embroidered based on a combination of images from like an aerial shot of Rome and my neighborhood. And I just merged them together digitally and did a sketch of that and then translated that over on thread and some fabric that I had.
So everybody's commenting on how beautiful it is. You can look at the chat yourself, I guess. Faye says, beautiful work, Elliot. Oh, so gorgeous, she says.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, this one's mine. I want to preface with this is my first art class I've ever taken. So I had a little bit of a struggle here. I live in a cornfield in Indiana, so I wanted to send that forth into the world, I suppose, and also combine it with some of the things that I saw in Rome within the letters of the town. So, yeah.
And Danny embroidered the corn cob herself, that tiny corn cob.
Which is hard to see in the digital image. It's beautiful, very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, people are saying, love it, Donnie. Yes, well done.
But the letters are made out of ticket stubs from Rome museums.
And Emilia says, amazing. And Faye says, I lost it, something. Oh, I just lost, both said amazing. Faye Trachtenberg and Emilia Zankina, amazing.
The next one is Sean Whalen's, and I see him right here. Sean?
I'm muted. Ha! Hi. So my piece was basically, can everyone hear me right?
Yes.
Cool. My piece was a combination of a few things. They're both photographs that I've taken. There's actually 3 separate photographs that I've taken. And, oh, thank you, Lucy. And I tried to combine them. The left side of the piece is actually Laurel Hill Cemetery, a really historic cemetery in Philadelphia. And then the right side, and moving back into the frame in the building in the back, I took a wall from a place I was in Rome, and then the building in the back is actually a building from Florence. So I tried to combine a little bit of everything to make just a nice image that could be either Philadelphia maybe or Rome.
So our Dean Amelia says that it makes you want to walk up the stairs.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a beautiful set of stairs right on the side of Laurel Hill Cemetery, right next to Kelly Drive, coming off the side of the hill. It's very neat.
Very nice. Beautiful piece. Beautiful drawing.
This one's mine.
Oh, Lauren?
Spencer.
I go by
Spencer.
Yes, ma'am. This one's mine. So our project was to make everything connected. And I thought that my dad personally got diagnosed with coronavirus. So there's just this sense of chaos and like anxiety that goes along with finding out that, first of all, that you're being sent home. Second of all, that your family member has it. So I wanted to capture that and convey that in this piece. So that's what I tried to do.
You did. Very powerful. I'm sorry, but is everybody okay?
Yeah, he's fine. We're all recovered and healthy. Thank you.
Good, good, good to hear that. Our Dean Faye says, brava, Spencer.
That was Peter in my class, and this is...
Oh, okay. Is this your class now? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you moved to my class. This is Peter's work, and I think Peter is... I saw him before that he was there. I don't know if you want to say something.
Yeah, this is just a pretty simple sketch of a sculpture I was actually able to see in, I believe, Centrale Monte Martini. And although I was pretty lucky to visit the museum, it's a beautiful museum, but then after being sent home, I was forced to refer to photographs. So I think it turned out pretty well, though, with the resources I had.
So if you want to move to the next piece. This is by Sofia Lucente. I don't think she was here today. This is the St. Peter's scene from behind. And so basically in the course, after they all left, it switched from being a visual diary of Rome to being postcards of Rome. And I would send them images and they could work off of them. And it was more like building or thinking about a city that you cannot actually be visiting, and what you feel, and what if you were instructed to design something in a city that you couldn't visit, you didn't have time to visit, and how you would approach it. How would you go about looking for the information about a city that you don't exactly know? So this was a bit the spirit of how it course continued. And then if you can.
Wow.
This is by Ruodan, who's not a Temple student, and Ruodan went back to China. So she had a different schedule from everybody else. So exactly 12 hours apart from all the other students who went back to the East Coast.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
So Roberto Manino says, so accurate, the shading.
Yeah, some of these were done while they were still in Rome. Like this one, we did go to Palazzo Altem's, and so the students just chose their drawing to present, and some of them preferred to show the drawings that they had actually done here. Others instead, the ones that were inspired by their stay here in Rome and looking at it through images.
And our new dean, Emilia Zanchina, says masterful drawings.
This one is by Sophie, who talked before. And we all know this view very well from the top of the balcony of Piazza del Popolo. And
beautiful
Sophie. She was there. Sophie, do you want to say something?
That's really all. Yeah, this was my favorite view of Rome, so that's why I chose to draw this one.
People are commenting that it's making them miss the piazza.
Me too.
It does, even for us in Rome. You know, we haven't been back there. So this is by Jillian Kantz. I don't know if she's there. And this she did back in the United States. So on a particular day when we would have been going to the botanical garden as a class, so thinking about nature, but seen from far.
The comment is gorgeous colors from Emilia.
Yeah, wonderful. And this is done by Sean, who's actually a senior. And she took this image from photographs of the Centrale Montemartini, which we did not visit, but I would send them photographs and links to these places as though they were supposed to visit them virtually. So she did this one, which is in the boiler room of the Centrale Montemartini. And this one's by Megan. Megan is here. Megan, you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Megan.
This is one of this was just an observational drawing that I did when I was in Rome. I really wanted to one of my drawings that was from when I was actually there. And this is from the National Gallery Museum. It had all like the modern and contemporary art. And this was a sculpture, and I really liked the room that it was in, and I just like sat on the floor there, and yeah.
So Mia says, yay, Megan, brava.
Yeah, a Pascali sculpture from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Lovely piece. I love the way you wrote in the label next to it as well.
Yeah.
This one's by Emma, and it's done digitally. So she was drawing on her iPad, and so taking images of Rome and re-elaborating them, and so famous palms in Rome, and so this is a different way of seeing Rome, and different technique, but interesting approach to recording images and to recording memories of a place where you've been. And Alyssa is here. Alyssa, can you say something?
Hi. Yeah, I can say something. I did it in Tarquinia when we went on that excursion for our class. And I just really wanted to capture like the rolling hills and the clouds and stuff. Yeah.
I think some people should perhaps mute their microphone because it's possible that they came unmuted. I don't know who it is. I can't control it. Just so we can hear people comment their works. Emily, is it possible after Roberto to see Catherine Krizik? Can we go off order, or is that complicated?
Yeah.
We can?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Anyway.
Okay, then after Roberto, we'll move on to Catherine, and then, okay, thank you.
So the drawing before was by August, an architect, and this is by Maya. And but August was actually drew a bit of everything, but he did choose a piece of architecture in the end for the exhibition, which I found fair enough. And so this is the corner of the Campidoglio when you're looking down towards the forum behind it. So a beautiful piece of architecture.
Very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Maya, the week we were thinking about nature, and she took images from botanical illustrations, which she liked a lot, and re-elaborated them in a very stylized and formal way, which is very much part of her way of drawing. And Henry, who I saw before, I don't know if Henry is still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Do you want to say something?
Oh, yeah, it's just a sketch of a bronze sculpture I saw while I was at a museum. I forget the name of it, but it just really stuck out, and it was really great to analyze the piece and slow down with the sketch.
You're getting some nice compliments here. Love the expression. Wonderful. And so expressive.
Thank you.
Very nice, Henry. Thank you. Oh, Kira. Is Kira here? I don't think so. Okay.
No, I don't seem to. Kira, this was actually inside the church. It's the Church of St. Ignatius, Laiola. And it's the Annunciation, which is on one of the two transepts, the left transept of the Church of St. Ignatius. And it's a beautiful relief, and white marble relief, but in the context of this kind of crazy Baroque marbles, gold, frames, and columns, and all the rest. And I like the way she kind of did not stop at just the relief, but went into the architectural decoration that are a complement to the relief as well. So looking at art, but in context, which is one of the most beautiful things that we can do while in Rome. We can see things where they were meant to be seen in their original place.
Okay, now we have to move on to part 2 of the exhibition. So if anyone's looking at this on their own, when you're on the website, we have a part 1 and a part 2 just because we have so many works in the show. So if you scroll down, you can see part 2 here. enter the exhibition. We're going to see Catherine. I think her work is in this first room. Yes.
Okay, Catherine Krizik.
Mute. Hi there. Well, first of all, I have the privilege of working with courageous students who have no experience drawing. So, I mean, it's actually been quite a wonderful time figuring out how to introduce them, you know, to art, to drawing, ways of looking at things, and they've been teaching me a lot as well. So, just for them to take a moment to stop, pause, put a pencil or brush to paper is truly a courageous act, and I really enjoyed working with them. It's a very small class, and these are their final pieces at the end of, like, we actually work on a lot of skill building and concept building and vocabulary, and we can just go on. I mean, anyway, thank you again, Shara and Emily. It's really a fantastic experience. I feel like it's the future of the art world, what we're experiencing here. It's an alternative, it's an additional supplement. It's really, really quite something.
Yeah.
Also, I think we can just go on and look at the four pieces. I have 2 students on the West Coast, 2 on the East Coast. Okay, this is a little bit squished. Anyway, we concentrated on like homey, intimate subjects. This was one of the West Coast students, and this is really her first experience drawing. So I'm proud of it. This is an immortal portrait of her dog, Abby. Gave a lot, comfort dog. We can go on, maybe, because I think she's here. This is Sophie Powell, and Sophie was a wonderful student to teach. This is her final project, and she was working with with nature. This is also the first time she's using ink, and she started from very representational work to doing something that's quite abstract, but yet you can still see the figuration, and it really came out great.
Indeed. So Emilia says, mesmerizing, so beautiful.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, this is Ernest Ensi, who's another West Coast student, which might explain why he's not here tonight. This is some experimentation with going like from figuration to abstraction. Right? So you took part of like the side of the guitar and kind of expanded the scale and then put it all together. Again, this is the first time he's working with ink wash. We concentrated on things that were achievable because I wanted them to work directly from life since they were beginning students. So a lot of interiors, a lot of like, you know, homey portraits, still lifes, things that really kind of concentrated on the kind of inner landscape, let's say. We can go to the next. There's one last piece, I think. Actually, no, there's 2. Yeah, this one. And this is also another super beginner, and she was a lovely student and who actually like burst out crying like the first days. Like, this is so scary, and I promised her it was going to get easier. And so this is just like, I think it successfully portrays the feeling we all had at a certain point of like being inside, claustrophobic, and just wanting that breath of fresh air outside. So I'm really proud of her.
It's very nice. The naivete is one of the charming aspects of it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it really was refreshing to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's it for me. It was 4 students, 4 nice students. We met weekly and really became friends also, I have to say.
Yeah, but Catherine, this was a huge undertaking, mounting that course, and you know, it was a switch of gears for you. So I appreciate your work on doing that. I ripped you away from your comfort sketchbook, and you did such a great job with these students, and I really appreciate it, and I know they do as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Faye Trachtenberg is paying you a compliment also and said, lovely Catherine, nice job, everyone. Roberto, so Waltex, Roberto Manino's, are we starting with paper making? So contemporary paper making in Rome, and We'll let him talk. An amazing class. Roberto?
Well, yeah, of course it was a challenge, but I think the students did all right in the sense we have to move online, and luckily we were able to do and produce enough paper in the first half, and so students were able to understand the medium and you know, get familiar with the process. So then we had to, of course, concentrate on theory, history, artistic achievements, and the like. And then for the final projects, they were left free. So some of them did amazing collage or embroideries, or went digital, or and the like. And pretty satisfied. Yes, I think we can start.
Okay.
Yes, and I think we have Megan here. Megan.
Yeah,
Megan.
hi.
Hi again.
Okay, your shirt matches the tone of the picture.
It does. This was, the base is a piece of handmade paper that I made when I was in Rome. And then I just, for the final, I kind of focused on adding a bunch of texture and color, and I embroidered some things on, and I tried to layer different like lace and ribbons, and I added some beads, and so.
Faye Trachtenberg says, just lovely, Megan.
Aww.
I think it's very interesting, the fact that Megan exploited the three-dimensionality of embroidery and worked with textiles and move off the paper surface and became like a relief. And I think it's very pleasing to the eye too. It's full of details.
And people are commenting on the Roman arches.
Okay.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay. Lily worked digital on her handmade paper, so she created a new design in Photoshop. She's not here though.
Okay.
And Kira worked. Kira, are you here? I haven't
looked for her before. I don't think she's here.
Okay, she worked with stitching, and she created this tarot cards, and working on the handmade paper images, sharpening up the contour lines and defining edges and things. I think it was a very interesting narrative.
Oh, cool.
And Cole went on working on the handmade paper with strings, very consistent, is a very, you know, concentrated on a certain design. So he's editing variables, and I think it's, you know, it's intriguing as a conjugation of forms and lines. Of course, there is a physical thread over the handmade paper.
Some of the comments are, this is so unique, beautiful work, and so on. Yes.
Yeah, and Caitlin, this is a pure paper making. Of course, this was done in the first half. Only one of the students was able to make handmade paper at home, working, you know, sort of figuring out how to recycle paper. And so this is working with off registration, with stenciling, and different linen pulp, colored pulps over a cotton base.
And comment is that how impressive it is that they could do this without being in the studio.
Yes. Again, this is Rosalia. This is pure paper making. So this was done previous to the departure, and this is on a letter format for 4-letter size sheets of paper. They were asked to work on a variable edition, And so these were like their first Pope paintings, where the white is white cotton fiber on top of a base sheet.
Anita Garrick again on her second class, Painting on Paper, from which we stole the title of the show, From Rome to Home, from Rome to Home.
Yeah, I like Bill Petit's comment that particularly for his classes, the students had to forage around and make paints out of whatever was available at home. Our students, our painting on paper students, many of them were, well, everybody was on spring break, and some never came back to Rome, so their materials, their supplies were shipped back to the States, and they were shipped back to Temple University. And anyhow, long and the short of it, they didn't get their materials until like a month later. And so a couple of my students, Natalie and Stacy, were unable to paint. So at a certain point I said, you know what, why don't you just use coffee and make, paintings out of coffee? Luckily the materials came shortly, but you'll see a whole array of works. Oftentimes the imagery relating to Rome is idyllic, it's nostalgic, the color palette is rosier, and there's a bit of sadness involved in that they being back home was seen a little bit like a punishment. But anyway, I'll let you go on with the show, Shara.
Thank you, Anita.
I don't know if she's here. Are any of the students here that did these? No. This is Maya. Maya Carolina, is she here? Anyway, this is a whole narrative. She takes you on a journey from Rome to her home, and her home is in the center, and it's actually the only element, the only motif that's anchored. Everything else is topsy-turvy, and yet it's joyful. It's it's a visual documentation, and she's also used thread to connect everything, to make some sense out of everything.
Anita, Catherine says, Anita, it seems like this was your best semester ever.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thank you. And here is a good example of a rosy image of Rome. And then this is in Westchester. Is the student, is Sophie here? No? Anyway, I guess we can go on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is a remnant of the Raphael show, which we never got to put on, but yeah. And then the next image is Noelle Mussolino, and she actually painted her screen, her laptop screen, and a Zoom meeting. Is Noelle here? No. And this is where she had a Zoom meeting with some of her Rome friends and some of her American friends. So it was a way of uniting everyone.
This is very nice piece.
And Shannon is here. Shannon Billington, correct?
Hello.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Do you want to talk about this piece?
Sure. So I did this work as a series of 3. And what I did was the background is landscapes of places in the state. And then through the glasses, you can see different scenery of Rome. So for this piece, I kind of was making it like, I kind of view Rome as like looking through rose-colored glasses. Things are pretty gloomy here in the States, and even though I know the pandemic is affecting Rome too, I think I'll always, in a way, look at Rome through rose-colored glasses and just remember it as such a beautiful place.
People are commenting that they love the piece. Well done, Shannon.
Thank you.
Is Alyssa here? Alyssa LaRusso? Alyssa is a true beginner. I mean, she had no art classes. So I'm very proud of her. She worked really hard.
Yes.
And this is just sort of literally bread and butter. And this is by Maya. Is Maya here? Maya Caroni?
Well, she's here watching, but she's not going to talk.
Okay. Well, this is from a Raphael drawing. It's very beautifully rendered.
She's also my daughter.
Yes, she is. I didn't want to put her in the spot.
Okay, well, she's... And this was the first class she's... And so Anita, we very applaud Anita for having taught Maya her first art class. Thank you, Anita.
Wow, she's an exceptional student.
Very well done, very nice. And now Roberto Manino again in his figure modeling class.
Yeah, this was a challenge because, of course, I mean, you're usually working against a model and you're confronted with anatomy, trying to understand, you know, structure, movement, posture, gestures, and everything. And it was a challenge for me, but of course it was a challenge, a heavier challenge for the students also because of lack of materials. And many of them couldn't find the clay or had to turn into, you know, air dry clay for kids or similar devices. They had no tools, so working with knives and spoons and in their homes or courtyards and, you know, confronting with a lot of issues. So I'm more than satisfied with what they did. And luckily we could follow up the syllabus so we could work on details of the figure like hands and feet and legs and things that, so they use their hands and feet to as a scale model, right? So we can go. This is Ren. Ren, would you like, are you still online?
Hi, yeah, I'm still here. So for this one, this is like the first time I've ever sculpted anything in this class. So it was a lot more challenging than I kind of expected because I already like drew a while, but it's just like a completely different medium. So I kind of was just like seeing what I could do. And for the mask, we did this in Rome. So I didn't have any like really trouble with any of the materials or anything, but I tried to just like mimic some of the faces that I saw a lot when I was walking around. And because there's like a lot of, you know, older people, and I just thought it was really interesting.
Thank you, Ren. You're terrific. Okay. Okay, this is Urena, and Urena is not here, but she did this beautiful baby face, and she did it at Temple Rome, and then she in clay, and then she varnished it. We did 2 heads for every student, and I think that was attract a lot of passion from the students just because we are so familiar with the facial issues. And so to play with facial expressions, young, old, and we did the extensive study of how does the bone structure and the entire physical facial elements change and mutate through time and expression. I think they find it very interesting, and I really like this piece.
It's a beautiful piece. She's in Japan, isn't she?
Correct. Correct. Emily.
Ciao, I'm still here.
Hello. You want to introduce your work?
This is my work. It was just a study of a torso in oil clay plasticine. and I was able to actually get my hands on some plasticine when we returned to the States, and I kept using that material.
And I think it fits very well on the base. It's really monumental. Instead, it's very small.
Yes, it's only like 5 inches tall.
Wow.
Very good.
Very nice.
Okay. And this is Kiera. This is a plasticine study of an hand that she did in the States. And so, you know, it was hard for us to, faculty in this case, to say, you know, we will get the picture on VoiceThread and tell them how and where to correct them and follow up, and then they will work more on it and then get back to you. And it's so, in a way, frustrating too, because it's such a hands-on practice, sculpture, that it's hard to tell, can you press a little more there? Can you pull out a little more? You know, it's challenging. Next.
Ernest is a photo major, isn't he? He's a photographer.
Right. And none of them is a sculpture major, so some of them never work with the picture came out a little stretched in this format. So it's more in proportion. This was the collarbone area from, that was one of the assignments they had to do. And Ernst was extremely disciplined, said, okay, I'm doing it life size. And so I took this picture at school after the lockdown for the show. I think it was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
This is a study of the legs, which was probably the hardest one because, you know, they had to create some internal armature to support, and just making the legs without the rest of the body is, it's hard because they look awkward. And, you know, so I think Liz made a great solution thinking about dancers' legs and, you know, in a gentle position upside down.
You're getting lots of positive feedback and some comments about how well they've also photographed their three-dimensional pieces. It looks pretty good.
There is some kind of stretching and adjusting to the format. So I know the original pictures, somehow some of them got a little bit, this is wider than it actually looks. But I think the sculpture is the first mask that Nicole did do, and in clay, and has been varnished at the end with a boxwood tool. And I think it's very expressive, and it's anatomically correct. And she worked long hours at Temple. You know, she was always in the studio working on their pieces. Very, very concentrated student.
Catherine says this is the face of coronavirus. And Devin says it's deeply psychological.
Deeply obsessive.
Lucia again, hi.
Yeah, Lucia. Lucia, are you still around?
Yes, I'm still here. This is based off of Our Lady of Guadalupe. It's a really important kind of spiritual thing for my family. So I just wanted to make it, it's not my best figurative work, but I really like the concept behind it.
Yeah, and I think the coloring, it really helps.
Mm-hmm.
It really fits. Quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, Devin.
Devin.
With his 3 classes, etching, printmaking, and book structures.
Oh, mamma mia. So next
next online exhibition, printmaking book structures will be first, right? Okay, just to make that
Okay, yes.
Just kidding. Thank you, Shara. This is a fantastic exhibition that you put together.
Well, Emily.
Yeah, and Emily, fantastic work, graphic design. Just real quick, I'll say something about my students across the board, that they all demonstrated a lot of maturity in representing themselves. It's not often a step that we have to approach, but I think in this context, we had to do that and think about not only making work, but also how you then show the work that you make. And oftentimes that is another step in the creative process. So in any case, they did a really admirable, fantastic job working through the past couple months. So I'll let you guys get started with the show.
Okay.
Oh, this is Mia. And Mia, I wouldn't call you out otherwise, but I just know that Mia put an incredible amount of effort into her work at every stage. And she did a really fantastic job documenting her process, which was something really valuable for me to be able to understand how she was working through problems. And it really, the image is a lino cut print that she elaborated on her own, set up her own printing station at home. So Mia, if you wanted to say anything, jump in now, but really, really fantastic work.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. I wanted to base this piece around kind of sort of the psychological damage that the virus is producing as well. So I really wanted to enhance that, kind of relating to my other print, which isn't in the show, but sort of focusing on these kind of the image of like the eyes and how we perceive things as well as the brain. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, this is a tragedy. This work is like squeezed, but it's a little bit more expansive piece horizontally. But it was a really gorgeous lino cut by Caitlin. I don't think he's with us, but just know it's a little bit wider than you're seeing it now.
Okay. Yeah, I think some of the works did get a little bit distorted, but I think that
this is going to be the Christmas card for Temple next year.
Oh.
I mean, that's unofficial, but I think they should use it.
I think we should too. Oh, I love it.
Then we will. Then we will.
This piece is by Yurina from Temple, Japan. And so she was kind of following our class asynchronously, and we would meet every week. And it was really interesting how she was thinking about combining elements of her experience in Rome and the graphic arts and printmaking in Rome, and sort of juxtaposing those with the traditions of especially woodcut that are so prevalent in Japan, the ukiyo-e traditions. So she started to kind of wrestle with that duality in her work, which was pretty interesting to see.
She's a very talented student also in my class from an academic point of view.
Put on mute. What's that? Hobby knocked our board over.
Oh, okay. So we'll just pick it up and start over.
Okay.
This is Cole, and I think Cole just joined us. So Cole, if you wanted to say anything about your work, feel free to step in. But yeah, he made a really interesting series of lino cuts, extending a lot of the imagery that seemed prevalent in his painting and drawing practice.
Is Cole there? Hi, Cole.
I think you knocked one on the floor.
I think, like the figure in Cole's work, he prefers to let us come to our own interpretation.
Okay.
This is Alyssa Roach, and Roach is also with us this evening, and I'll let her decide if she wants to jump in. A really interesting translation of between photography and printmaking. The first, time approaching the lino cut relief print, you're oftentimes thinking about how to translate light and dark. And I think she found a really expressive language that was very personal to talk about something that has a lot larger significance as well. So Roach, if you're out there and you want to jump in, feel free to do so.
Hey, Devin.
Hey, Alyssa.
This piece, it was sort of inspired by an article that I was reading, so that's where I got the imagery from, and I just interpreted it in my own way, and I'm pretty proud of it, so thank you.
Beautiful.
Great work, Roach.
Thank you.
This is Emma Stevens, and this is an etching that she created in Rome. So you'll notice that the graphic language is a little bit different than the more forceful kind of a simplified lino cuts that you were looking at previously, but very elegant, I think pretty contemporary approach to figurative sculpture.
So just to go back to the, without moving, but just to say that, that the comment on the work of Roach from Mary Conran was send it to the New Yorker. To be published.
And this is Maya Stevenson, who is an engineer. And I just have to say, I'll take a moment to pause on her work because she was an incredible student. And one of those instances that just reaffirms to me how important it is to have diverse classes composed of art students alongside students from other disciplines. She's an engineering student, but she brought so much vision and so much imagination to her work, coupled with just an extraordinary sense of rigor and diligence. So I just wanted to take a moment and commend her work ethic.
Yes, well done. I agree with you, Devin, totally. Faye says, bravo, Devin.
Oh, this is Margot Whips, and I'm sorry, I gotta just say, Margot is such a fantastic student. She's probably working right now, which is why she's not with us. But she was also the assistant in the printmaking shop and was a constant presence down there, just all hands on deck, and has continued to be a real champion for her own work and her fellow students' work now that we moved into this digital platform. So much respect for Margot, wherever she is.
Yes, and Lucy says she was also an amazing photo student.
Oh, and this is Lucia. Lucia, I think you got to say a few words about this piece, if you want.
Hello. Hi. So this piece, I actually did sort of a process called a suicide cut on it. So the first block I printed was in gray ink, and then I cut through it a second time to reveal the black ink on top. It's sort of about intrigue, not really knowing what's going on. And it's actually inspired by the first night that I was in Rome. We had some candles, but we didn't have candlesticks. So I stuck them to my sketchbook. And it was just a really nice feeling to me to do that and feel like I actually had a home there, so.
Yeah, I think good prints have consciousness, and this print strikes me as having a good consciousness. Great work.
Good job, students. Good job, Devin.
This is Catherine Marotta. She's a student at Mass Art. I don't think she's with us tonight, but another very strong presence in the course. This is my one adult learner, Mary Beth Looney. I don't think she's with us tonight, but I'll say a few words about this piece. It's based on a print by Raphael in collaboration with Marcantonio Raimondi called Il Morbetto, which was all about the plague in Crete. And she interpreted that sort of given the current circumstances and worked with that as a historical reference point, which I thought was a nice nod to the way that prints have functioned in the past.
Lucy says, pretty amazing image. Yeah. Lucia asks if it's a collage. Do you want to explain a moment?
Yeah, that is a collage, Lucia. It's composed of printed elements alongside photographic elements. So this was after our switch to the online platform, and Mary Beth was sort of recycling and deconstructing her previous works to then create this historical reinterpretation. Okay, book structures. I think this is our last course. But I think my book structure students, when we switched online, it was maybe one of the courses that was perhaps best adapted to the circumstances, except from the materials point of view. But in terms of, a craft to occupy your time in quarantine, there's almost nothing better to do than make books. And fortunately, all of my students really seized that opportunity and made some very inventive works. So let's take a look at them. This is Matt Autieri. I wouldn't be surprised if he's also at work right now. But a very imaginative book in which he basically kind of constructed his own fantastical world and put it inside of this book. Oh, and this is Shannon Billington, and she's with us tonight. So the image at the center, and maybe I'll let her clarify it a little bit more, but the image at the center is looking at the book at the front cover. But Shannon, if you're still with us and you want to say a few words about this piece, now is the time.
Yeah, so this is my final artist book. So the book in the center, that's what the outside cover looks like. And for this book, I used a stab stitch binding. And what the book, the theme of the book is all about growth. And so I wanted it to be about emotional, physical, spiritual growth. And I wanted it to be aesthetic and expressive of my style. And I used collage, painting, drawing. I worked with a lot of different materials for this book.
It's a really fantastic example of just kind of like a subtle, sustained, concise approach. Great work, Shannon.
Yeah, you're getting compliments on the chat, Shannon. People are saying that it's beautiful.
So this is Catherine Boyd. I didn't see her name on the list, but it's a Coptic stitch book recounting her experience in Rome. This is Mara Nice. She's also, I don't believe she's with us this evening, but another Coptic stitch book that she elaborated on her own, which was kind of a leap of faith because we basically did the demo the week before they all left. And then they kind of had to work it out on their own. And she did a really fantastic job coming up with a very unique individual project. This is an accordion book. And Mark isn't with us tonight, but he was another example of a student outside of the arts whose presence in my class really elevated the group. And one of the things I was most impressed with was the way he could talk and engage about works of art. Oftentimes in critique, the perspective that he would bring was so instructive to other students. So unfortunately, he isn't here to hear that, but it's something I always admired about him. Oh, the ethical insect. So if Elliot's still out there, I think they've got to say something about this book.
Yeah, I'm still here. So this book, my main idea was to use the materials that we've been talking about in class and change it up. So it's a fabric book that I sewed together with embroidered insects using like various fabric and stitches and stuff. But it's the kettle stitch on tapes, and then I sewed headbands on it as well.
I think it's quite apparent in this book that Elliot could teach this class. So let's move to the next one. Oh, this is Megan. Megan, if you're still out there, share a few words with us about this book.
Hi. So this was my final. It was an artist book. And again, I really just focused on the material and like the content of each page. I used the kind of an adaptation of the pamphlet stitch, and it's just a cute, it's small and it's kind of fat, and I just, yeah.
I think you have such a wonderful sensibility for materials and how to bring things together, bring different materials together into an object that has integrity. You've convinced me to embrace pink.
I'm glad.
This is Kaya Rist. She's currently up in Norway right now, but this book is called The Red Thread of Fate. And it's, unfortunately, you can't see inside of the book. The inside is even more extraordinary than the outside, the exterior. She really wove together a very complex visual narrative. So a real tour de force at the end of the semester. This is Rose Williams with a lovely little pop-up book detailing the various members of her family's quarantine activities. So kind of a lighthearted, charming approach to the final. And Miss Margot Whips, once again, she made a pretty stunning book that I hope to see one day in a bookstore somewhere, because I think it's a story that deserves to be told. It's called How It Is Now. And it recounts her experience transitioning from Rome to coming back to the United States and starting to work again in a care facility. And the cover is composed of repurposed surgical masks from her work. It's a really lovely piece.
Well, have we done, Emily, have we done the visit? Emily?
I believe so. Yeah, we did. I think that's the last
My
one.
class is missing, my photo class.
I don't think I got photos from your photo class, actually.
Did you send them in, Marina? I didn't see them either.
This is the last room. Sorry about that. But we can add it. Would you like to talk a little bit about what your students came up with? And then everyone can
Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, what I found interesting between the phase in Rome and the online class was that the photos became much more intimate. I mean, of course, it was also the subject they had to to work at home. Some were in real carotene. For example, we did one of the first project was portrait, and then one student was asking me, can I do also a dog? And I thought, what does she mean? And then she said, well, I'm in complete quarantine and I only have my dog. So I said, okay, go ahead, do your dog. So, and then we did sort of, what was another, treasures, secret treasures in your house and things like that. And in a way, for photography, I found it really interesting that the photos in some way became really more interesting because of this situation. Because, and they are when we talked together in the end, the students also said that they really started to focus on things they normally never really take notice, and that they were seeing in the ordinary things really sometimes also the beauty. Because when you're in Rome and you take photos, it's very easy. I mean, it's not so easy to do really good photos, but you're so overwhelmed by the beauty of Rome. So in a way, you sometimes, there's also always a little bit this tendency of doing a little bit too much postcards, photos, and then we try to get them in another direction. So that was interesting that in a way this shift was getting a different focus, which in reality I rather liked. And so the outcome I really liked. And there are actually two students, Jack and Shannon, they're here. And yeah, so, and I think they did a great work, and I was very happy with came out in the very end.
Marina, thank you. I'm so sorry that there was an oversight.
Well, I mean, it's so big, this exhibition, and you did an amazing job anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry, a little bit sorry for my students, I must say.
It will go on, though. We will edit, and it'll go back, it'll go into the show, and as everybody knows, the show can be visited. It's very dense, and it can be visited very quietly on the website or on YouTube, so.
Perhaps there are Shannon and Jack. I don't know if some of them would like to add something, to say something. I mean, there was Jack. I don't know if he's still there.
I'm here right now.
Ah, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I mean, this was my first photography class I've ever taken, and I was very excited to take this class because obviously Rome was such an interesting place to take photos. But Marina made a good point saying that having so much crazy and amazing stuff around you makes it almost more difficult to take a unique picture, and we did work on this a lot, trying to not take the common postcard type of photo and really learn to see different than the average photographer.
Thank you, Jack.
I can say something too. This was also my first photography class. So it was challenging at first, but it's cool to look back and see some of my older photos compared to my most recent photos and see just the progress I've made. And while it was a little bit depressing, you know, going from taking pictures of Rome to taking pictures of like my backyard, I still was able to obtain a lot from this class, and I really enjoyed it.
Good, yeah. I think you did both of you did a big job, and there was really seen that you developed a lot, and you got really also your own way to see the world, which in photography is also sometimes not so easy because you have so huge, big, good examples. Good, thank you.
Okay.
I would firstly like to add for anyone viewing the show now that I highly recommend that you check out the show on your own. You can click on each individual piece, and most of the students submitted an artist description, an artist statement, and you can read about the students who weren't able to join us tonight. You can read their point of view about their work. So I highly recommend you take your time and check out each work on its own. Putting together the show was really inspiring. Again, like reading all the descriptions, seeing all of the art that came through despite the semester. So thank you, Shara, for the insight, for having this 3D exhibition, and thank you to all the students who produced really, really beautiful work.
That was very nice. As we say, team gallery of art, the whole crew, students, faculty, all of us, was fabulous. So as Emily said, you know, take your time and enjoy it. And I will add that we have another exhibition coming up in about just over a month. I won't give any previews to it, but it'll be the same platform, and again, 4 artists, so not 150 pieces, but a much smaller exhibition, opening on June 15th. So keep an eye out for the invitation, and I hope to see many of you students and colleagues on that occasion. Thank you.